Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all very well. Welcome to my film and TV channel. And today we have a film review for you today. A film called Stardust. Please, if you're new to this channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications. You know, these vlogs are coming out. And yeah, we're getting there. I was aiming for 500 subscribers. Not far to go now. I was aiming for 500 by Christmas 2020. So my thanks to everyone who has subbed. And please, if you are new to the channel, press that subscribe button. I try and inform and entertain with these vlogs, so please, if you could do that for me, that would be wonderful. And please check my playlist, lots of stuff on there, and you will notice some football vlogs as well for my football team, Manchester City. So if you or anyone you know might be interested in that, please point them in my direction. I will be grateful as ever. Anyway, right, Stardust, here's a good one. So if it's called Star, nothing to do with that adventure fantasy film of many years ago, which is one of my favourites actually. I did enjoy that Stardust. This is a new one, 1 hour and 49 minutes, and it's a British-Canadian biographical film. So who's it about, do you think? Stardust? You don't need to think too hard, do we? It's English singer-songwriter, of course, David Bowie, or I used to call him Bowie as a kid, but obviously it's David Bowie, and his alter ego Ziggy Stardust, of course. Directed by Gabrielle Range and produced by Paul Van Carter, Nick Torsig and Matt Code, from a screenplay co-written by Range with Christopher Bell. Johnny Flynn stars as Mr. Bowie as the lead character alongside Jenna Malone and Mark Maron in supporting roles. It's released on November the 25th, 2020 by IFC Films. Yeah, and the film centres on Bowie's first tour in the USA in 1971. Oh, 1971, I remember it well. And his creation of Ziggy Stardust persona following the visit, whilst also showing Bowie's origins. Bowie's estate did not approve this film and did not grant rights to use Bowie's music. So there you go. How are we going to make a film about Bowie without his music? But hey, there you go. They still went ahead, still plodded ahead with it. And Stardust has Bowie performing covers the real Bowie performed in this period. So sort of got round it a little bit by that, such as I Wish You Would by the Yardbirds and My Death by Jacques Brel. So there you go, that's how they got round that. What's the scores? How's it doing on the old feedback? Well, Metacritic, it's only got a weighted average, very, very low, of 36 out of 100. That's pretty poor. That's based on 12 reviews as I'm recording this. That was 8 mixed reviews and 4 negative, so no positive reviews at all for this, which is a shame. And it did score anywhere between 0 out of 10 and 5.8 out of 10, the dizzy heights of 5.8 out of 10. The AV Club's Ignati Vishnevetsky only gave it 2.5 out of 10. That was, I'm not going to read you the 0 out of 10 one. Only gave it 2.5 out of 10 and said, as played by actor-musician Johnny Flynn, the Halloween costume Bowie we meet in Stardust is a miserable, charmless wannabe, which is to say that the film falls where a single photo of this most chameleonic of music legends would succeed. It makes Bowie boring. Well, I'm sure he was boring at some times. I'm sure he wasn't always quirky. I'm sure he did have his boring moments. IGN's Christy Puchko gave it 5 out of 10, so a little bit better. Ultimately, it's bland, not bold, and achingly absent of enchantment. And IndieWire's Kate Erbland, I mean, a wonderful 5.8 out of 10. This was the highest score. What does she think? Well, there are flashes of originality in this film script, which quite artfully builds on Bowie's worries with a distinctly personal edge. Most of it is relatively straightforward, never as psychedelic or sophisticated as its opening shots, which finds Flynn stuck in a spacesuit and unable to engage with the world around him. Rotten Tomatoes, well, they're not usually very kind. If Metacritics haven't been very kind, what do Rotten Tomatoes think? Well, it's got a 16% positivity rating, 16% approval rating. Critics recommending this film. That's based on 31 critics. We did get 5 fresh, so we got 5 fresh reviews, which is a positive, and 26 rotten reviews, unfortunately, so it didn't do too well. Internet Movie Database, as the time of recording this, just under 400 scores been left on there, and it's averaging, yeah, well, nothing dissimilar to what we've seen before. It's only averaging 3.5 out of 10, which is a great shame, isn't it, for a Bowie thing? But there you go. There are reasons for this, as you probably can read between the lines of what I've already said. Some of the comments on Internet Movie Database: oh dear God, why? Too much of a letdown. Horrendous. As a Bowie fan, this is a slap in the face. Why? Question mark. Utter disappointment. And the best I can get, I've not found any positives. The best I can get was someone wrote 4 out of 10 for trying. So there you go. That's the best we got, which it's not very good, is it, in all fairness? Right, my little thoughts on this. Yeah, I mean, I did enjoy the recent Elton John and Freddie Mercury films to some extent. You know, obviously they all had good bits. They all had a bit rubbishy bits, but I did enjoy both of those little biographical dramas. But now we've got a Bowie one to add to the mix, but obviously put together under very different circumstances as well. If you can't play his actual music and you don't get approval from the family, I mean, I think there's a swear word. I'm not going to say it's something in the wind, aren't you? But yeah, I mean, the guys must. I mean, it is a free. We live in free countries, Canada and Britain. So yeah, the guys behind this film had a quite right to go ahead with it. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm watching The Crown on TV at the moment. I'm sure some of that's not done with the approval of certain people. But hey, there you go. So it is such a shame, as I say, following on from the Elton John and Freddie Mercury ones, this is sort of let down by that. I think the ratings reflect the result of this lack of source material more than anything, and the story told. I mean, in fairness, I quite enjoyed the story. I thought it was okay. I think he did a good David Bowie. He struggled a little bit, but you look at some of the images. I mean, he looks quite. I mean, obviously, I didn't think he looked that much like him, but obviously, when you look back and look at some of the images, I think they did a good job of that. And there's a lot of verbal in it, and what I really liked about it was the on-screen chemistry between Johnny Flynn and Mark Maron, who play obviously the two main characters central to this story. I, of course, wanted the film to delve deeper into this particular section of Bowie's life, which I think was very important. I mean, going over to the US, and you end up you're not got a tour, but you can go on radio shows, you can do various things, you can get interviewed by Rolling Stone, etc., etc. I mean, there is plenty of material, even though obviously it's literally a few weeks in his whole life. I mean, there is plenty of scope to go at it, but obviously without the real story, without the family's backing, I think it sort of lost a little bit somewhere along the line. And obviously, there's only so much you can make up, and there's only so much, you know, in all fairness, to do. You know, they don't want to. It's not a demolition job of Bowie. They wanted to do, I think, a good story on Bowie. So as I said, it did have those limitations, unfortunately. Okay, it's not a patch. It's not a patch on the other recent music biopics because of these limitations, of course. And I say it does concentrate really the main part of the film on that one aspect, that US tour. And I say it's certainly an interesting time in Bowie, and it certainly made me want to go and read up about it and find out a bit more about it. And for me, anyway, I mean, it wasn't a total waste of 90 minutes. As I said, the on-screen chemistry between the two main guys was very good, and for me it was very watchable. There was a lot of verbal diarrhea in it, but obviously music-wise I don't think many people would be that impressed with it. But yes, a music biopic about a legend without some of his best stuff was bound to fall a little flat, and sadly this does fall just a little flat, and this is a great shame because you don't get many chances, do you, in life? But hey, perhaps there'll be a sort of bigger budget, more liked and welcomed one by the family and the estate of Mr. Bowie. So perhaps we've got that to come yet. But I didn't think it was that bad. I certainly don't think it was worth 2 or 3 out of 10. I'm not going to give it my 6 out of 10 watchable rating because I think that'd be unfair, because I know a lot of people will be disappointed watching this. But I am going to give it the 5.5 out of 10, which means I sort of thought it was okay, but I'm not going to. I wouldn't put you off watching it, but I can fully understand if you don't want to, especially when you don't get all the classic tunes. I mean, I do enjoy Bowie music. It was of my time. I did enjoyed it then. I probably enjoyed it more as I got older. So, yeah, it's such a shame. It's a bit of a waste, but not a total disaster. Not a total waste of 90 minutes of my life watching it. As I say, there's bits and pieces I could take out of it that I quite enjoyed. So 5.5 out of 10. The poster, again, potential. I do quite like the poster. I'm actually going to give the poster victory today because I know it's not the real guy. I know it's not the real thing. But in the same way, I had a movie poster of the film. There's a film called George Best. They had a movie poster of him, and it wasn't George Best on the poster. It was the actor playing George Best. But in the same way, obviously that poster's appealing, you know, even though it's not the actual guy. So just for what it is, just because it is the film basically. So I'm going to give the poster 6 out of 10. So today I'm going to give the poster 6 out of 10, and unfortunately the film, despite quite liking it in bits and pieces, I can only give it 5.5 out of 10, and fully understand people who have really got a downer on it and not marked it very much at all. Please let me know in the comments if you get to watch this and you do like it or you don't like it. Just let me know what you think, and as I say, it is such a shame, such a wasted opportunity. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please check my links on screen. If you follow or friend me on Facebook and Twitter, I do check every couple of days and follow and friend everyone back on there. And I do have a little website called moviegamenostalgia.com where I sell old and rare DVDs, movie posters from the 90s and 2000s when I used to have a video shop in Manchester. Some great films, some great actors on those posters. Please have a look at that. And we do have some board games as well on the site. That's moviegamenostalgia.com. Thanks for joining me. Whatever you're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. And if you, till we meet again on the film and TV channel, this is Bernard Please saying, stay safe everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.